Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. This is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. Tonight I want to take a moment and talk about the misconception of being a bachelor. I think a lot of people get this wrong. And most recently there was a comment on one of my videos and I wanted to talk about it a little bit. About 5% of my viewers are women, which means out of roughly, 45,000 of them, that would be around 2,300 women. And I'm grateful for the views. I appreciate it. And I try to tackle things from I think you guys would say, a neutral perspective. I'm not on here ranting. I'm not saying how awful they are or so on and so forth. My format usually is to pick an article or a video of something that I disagree with. Usually it's a woman writing her story. And then I will say what I think about it and why this is a good example of why men are being the way they are. So when a woman watches my video, I really do appreciate it. When women comment on my video, I really appreciate that too, because they're taking their time to write their thoughts in a forum they know are filled with men that are not happy with women for the most part. So I wanted to take a few minutes and express this because I think this is important. When guys decide to become bachelors, there are certain men that have not had any luck with women, and some of them are angry about it. Others are resigned and they say, you know what, I wish I could, but I don't fit the bill somewhere. Either I'm short or I'm bald or I'm weak or I'm thin or I'm whatever, right? Because we all know kind of traditionally what women look for. And I've faced my challenges there as well. I think every guy does, right? So you've got that group of guys that just never really got into the game. Then you've got guys that are kind of in the game and they're just doing their fun, right? They're keeping things casual. They're keeping things light. They're going out there having a little bit of fun, but they don't want to commit and get into a long-term relationship, but they're enjoying dating, right? And women do this too, and it's fine. I'm always, and you guys know this, I've said this many times, I'm fine if a woman says, hey, I just want casual, and a guy says, me too, go for it. Do your things, right? The problem is when you lie about it. Either person, if a man lies and he's a player or a woman lies, I'm not cool with that. Just be upfront and tell the other person what you want. Be honest about it. Then the third type you have is someone that what I would probably say like myself, married and divorced. I've had several relationships, both long and short term. And I find that once I start getting emotionally involved and the more that I care and the more that I open myself up, the more that things go wrong, that actually I seem to lose attraction and the women don't seem any interested anymore. And then you have guys that were literally wrung through the ringer, like some really bad cases where they got done wrong. And there's many different stories that we talk about, different ways that guys kind of, whether it's through the legal system, the court system, with kids, with divorce, something goes wrong really bad and they say no more. So when you're going to have a forum filled with those type of people, they're going to be upset and they're not going to necessarily be the most open to listening to the opposite sex's view. So when somebody, and women especially, when they leave their comments, I think it's great and it's very brave to do so. But I want to read the comments that one woman left on one of my videos, and I don't want to make fun of her. I don't want to call her out, but I do want to kind of bring a better understanding to our situation so that anyone that watches a video like this can kind of understand where men are coming from, okay? So first, I'll read her quotes and we'll talk about it a little bit more. She says, I'm truly saddened by the views in these comments. Seriously, don't listen to this bitter man, as looking down on women is not going to land you one. Okay, I agree. First of all, I agree. My videos are not going to really help you land a woman. It's not what they're designed to do. That maybe is for a dating site. My videos are designed to let you know what is out there currently from the other sex. It's letting you know how women think from articles. It's how they view things from articles, from memes, from screenshots, from things off Reddit, from videos. It's informing you of what some women, not all women, some women think. Now, are there good women out there? Yes, there are. Can you find one? I don't know. But you're going to have to put a lot of time and effort into it. And then, when we talk about time and effort, you have to say, Well, how much time and effort do I want to put into something that statistically does not end well? If you're like me, that number is 0. For other guys, maybe they do want to try. But most of the time when guys want to be bachelors, they're going their own way and doing their own thing. They're not interested in landing a good woman. We don't want to look anymore. It's not worth the effort. As I've said in one of my videos, the juice is not worth the squeeze. So we'll continue on. Women aren't turned off by nice. They're turned off by boring. Okay, I'm going to insert a little clip right here.
You know, rather than get confrontational,
You know, I had a feeling that you were gonna... Okay, guys, you wanna get a beer?
Sure.
Allison, excuse me, but I thought that this was our time together.
It's just a beer. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Actually, my place is like 40 minutes from here.
That's fine. Which way's your car?
All right, that was from a movie named Bedazzled, okay? And that was Brandon Fraser, and one of his wishes was he wanted to be sensitive and sweet and nice, and he was, and she left him for the bad boy, okay? Women, and it's time and time again that women say that their husbands, their boyfriends, they're too nice. Now, maybe they do mean boring, but there's only so much you can do to be the exciting, adventurous guy, okay? That takes effort. That takes energy from the guy's part. And what does he get to keep? He's got to do all that just to keep a girlfriend. What does she have to do? Is there any discussion of her having to be exciting or keep it interesting or make sure you put it out? No. Many times women will kind of ease off the gas pedal, and guys will stay with them because we don't need her to provide excitement. We don't need to be our source of interest. We have hobbies. So let's continue on. She says to try to actually understand her. That is actually what we do on this channel. You can love a woman and you can understand a woman, but you can't do both. She says talk about your inner world and her inner world. No, that doesn't work. Expressing your love and your weaknesses and your strengths and your fantasies and your desires and your love of all things and becoming a poet and a romantic doesn't work. She'll get bored. She'll want somebody else. She doesn't, the minute you cry in front of a woman, it's over. It's done. There are thousands of posts by guys saying, when I got sick, she left. When I lost my job, she left. When we hit a hard patch, she left. I broke down because I was so stressed about work and I cried. She left. When they see that you're emotional or they look at that as weakness, they literally use the word cringe. And all you have to do is just do a web search. It's out there. Now, I can't link to 4,000 studies or different web pages, but it's there over and over and over again. Let's continue on. Plan some trips and exciting dates. Okay, that means that the guy has to entertain her. Gentlemen, plan some exciting dates. Gentlemen, plan some trips. But make sure she enjoys it. Make sure it's got to be something she likes, because if you plan the wrong one, like she goes to the mountains, she hates camping, but you tried to make a outing of that, and that's no good. That doesn't count. And let's say you do plan exciting trips. Okay, so if every summer we go to you love going to the Outer Banks in North Carolina. You loved it. You had a great time playing with the wild horses. And the next summer I said, hey, I got us another trip to the Outer Banks. Oh, okay, yeah, I really had a good... And the year after that, I got us another trip to the Outer Banks. Well, yeah, but we've done that a couple times. What about a trip to something else? What about something... You're always chasing the new, the different, the interesting. That takes effort. That takes a lot of effort on a guy's part. And remember, this is not to better your relationship. This is not to better things. This is just to keep her. This is just to keep her. And again, what are the end results? It turns into a lot of work just to keep a woman. But here in her notes, she doesn't say, when she plans a trip, make sure that you're grateful. When she does something exciting, make sure you reciprocate or thank her. No, it's the guys putting forth the effort. And again, this is a very traditional way of thinking, but you have to understand that this is work on a guy's part. I've done it. I've sat there and I looked up bed and breakfasts in the mountains and I looked for this to do and where we could rent motorcycles and this and this. Now we did the whole thing, and we did a week-long trip, and it was wonderful. Caught her cheating on me a month and a half later. So you can't, again, you can't necessarily get it all right. Let's continue on. Involve her in some of your hobbies. I did that too. Dated a girl, and I enjoyed my time with her so much that I actually bought a second motorcycle. I had one that was very much like my Triumph R, my Speed Triple R, which was just a single person, straight in line, cutting curves type of bike. I went out and bought an Indian Scout, and I spent an extra $2,000 to put a nice seat in it behind me, and we rode two up all the time. She loved it. Matter of fact, she loved it so much she ended up buying a motorcycle for herself, and then we rode together quite often. I think now she rides that motorcycle with another boyfriend up in New Jersey. So I involved her in my hobby, and she loved it, and then now she's doing it with somebody else. So I did that, but it doesn't always work quite as well as you think it does. Spice it up in the bedroom, and don't do the same tired routine every time. I don't know a guy that's not up for new stuff. You don't have to do these things 24/7, but you do have to do them some of the time. Understandable. If you do these things, she's much more likely to stick around. That is true. She's much more likely. But that doesn't mean she will stick around. And most of us guys that are here have gone through this again and again and again and again and again. And we just say, no more. I'm putting so much energy and so much effort into this, and I fall in love with somebody or I care for them very much, and it's over. And women say all the time, well, men don't express how they feel. They don't say what they need. But you know something? You know what women don't do? They don't say, you know what? I feel our relationship's a little stale. I think things are boring. I want to spice it up a little bit. We need to do something to kick it up because I'm losing attraction for you. No woman says that. They just think that. And they think that right up until they lose you, right? Or until they leave you. So for a lot of guys, it comes out of the blue, and the little signs were there, but we don't think and look the same as women do. And so it creeps up on us and surprises us. So to us, it's out of the blue. For her, she might have said, well, he should have seen this coming. It's been bad for a year. Men we don't pick up on all the little social cues. We need a woman to say, just come right out and say. And the women that watch this, if you're in a relationship, go right out and say, hey, you know what? Here's what I like about our date nights. Here's what I don't like about our date nights. Here's what I think we need to do to so on and so forth. Okay? Now, it doesn't mean it's going to work, but at least give a guy a chance, will you? Let's see. If you do these things, remember, being nice is just baseline manners, and it doesn't guarantee you a partner. Never expected it to be. I'm nice. I'm nice to every woman I meet. I'm still friends with most of my ex-girlfriends, believe it or not. I really am. And it's not because I'm angry at them or I'm weak and I'm not strong enough to go my own way. It's because we had plenty of similar likes and things that we enjoyed doing outside of the romantic relationship part of it, that even after things broke off, I wasn't angry. I just said, well, okay, this is the way it is, and we'll stay friends, and that's fine. So again, it's for some reason, she just doesn't understand that young guys that haven't been in a relationship don't understand this, but there's a lot of us that have been in these relationships. And I've been dating since I was 15. That's 30 years of experience under my belt, through a marriage, through several multiple year relationships that I actually thought about getting remarried in. I'm glad I didn't now with today's court system. But when you take the lifespan of a young man today and you look at dating, if you're in your 20s right now, dating young women is not very healthy. They are and this is not me saying this. I mean, you can just, again, go to the web, look at some of my other videos. Young women are about, I want to do college, I want to have my fun, I want to date the hot guys, I want to party, I want to, so on and so forth. Then when they're in their later 20s, they want to do their jobs, and they still are enjoying the casual dating. When they get to their 30s, that's when things start slowing down, and they say, I'd like a good boyfriend. I'd like someone that's solid and reliable, and so on and so forth. And this is even whether they do or don't have kids. If they do have kids, a guy looking at them says, I want a family, but she's kind of already a family. And in many cases, they have one or two children, and they don't want more. Most men do not want to add water, instant 2 or 3 person child family. So that takes a huge chunk. 45% of the women are out of the market instantly because they may have kids already, and a lot of guys aren't interested in that. Secondly, the women that are in their 30s want to marry 30-something men. But the quality 30-something men are dating and having fun with the 20-something girls that are just out partying and have a good time. Because if a guy's in his 30s and he says, I'm not necessarily ready to settle down, everybody's marrying, everybody's dating and having kids later, right? So now the young or mid 30-something man says, I don't need to settle down yet. I don't need to get married yet. I'm still having fun with these cute 20-year-olds that are having such a good time. In the meantime, the 30-year-old woman's saying, where are all the good men? And that was, a couple of the videos I've done. In the last video I did, there was a woman who had been engaged 3 times, and she ditched all 3 good guys to go play with some bad boys, right? So then they finally do get to the point where they want to date, and now maybe they start looking at men in their 40s. I'm in my 40s. Now, if you compare me and the way that I look and my lifestyle, I still can date 20-somethings, okay? And in my 40s, I don't want to get married. A lot of men are getting to this point. I don't want a family. I never have. And I took care of that, so I can't even have a mistake and have a family. So that takes me out of the market for a lot of 30-somethings, if I were in the market. So let's say a 30-something-year-old woman meets a 40-year-old guy. Well, again, article after article after article states this, where they get married for a few years, but they get a little bored. They get a little antsy. He's not doing something right. And again, it's his fault. It's always his fault that he's not keeping the romance alive, and he's not doing this and he's not doing that, or he's boring, or there was a story about a woman who, she got a promotion. He was a writer, but he didn't have any work. So he decided to work stories or write stories from home and take care of the baby. And she found she came home and she hated him. Why did she hate him? Because he got all the time with the child and she had to do all the work, and she wanted it to be reversed. But this is the way that she wanted the relationship to go. See, so again, when you start adding this all up, and then the 60% of the divorces are initiated by women in their 30s. When you get older than into the 40s, the divorce rate goes up even higher, initiated by women. So when you start pulling together all these different statistics, right, and you put them in a big bowl, and you look at them and you say, the odds of me finding someone are low. Finding somebody of quality are low. Having it last a long time, low. Not getting cheated on, low. Having her not having kids already, low. Having her not divorce me, low. Not being run through the court system, low. Not having to pay alimony depending on the state you live in, low statistics, right? So when you start adding up all these lows, all of a sudden you realize, you know what? This is a 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000. And can you still find a good woman? Yes, you can. How long is it going to take you? How many times do you have to date for a little while to realize, oh, this isn't a good woman. This is not going to work. We're only here for a finite amount of time. And if you can go on a date, with a woman a few times, a lot of these different red flags and these issues don't show until you get in a little bit deeper and you start moving in together, or you get married. And then she says, okay, I got him. I can relax a little bit. And this happens a lot too. Now, this isn't putting all the blame on women. I'm not saying that, because there are plenty of young men right now that are more than happy to go out and have their fun with girls. A lot of them will lie, won't tell the truth, will make the girl think that he's into a long-term relationship, and then he bails on her after, having a little bit of fun with her. I'm not saying this is a one-way street, but this channel is about young men that are in one of these situations, that they want to know what's going on. They want to know, how much effort should I put into dating? What are the odds going to be that if I do meet someone that it's going to turn out well? Tell me what's going to happen in my life. And that's a lot of young men on this channel. Then there's a lot of men that say, I've been through this, but I feel like I'm alone. A lot of my friends are married. A lot of people ask me when I'm going to start dating again, or if I'm going to have kids and all. And I feel very alone. And then they come to a channel like this, and they see a lot of guys that are in the same place. And there's a little bit of brotherhood here. And there's a little bit of, man, I know where you're coming from. I feel you. Like, oh, wow. Man, I have a story like that to tell too. And a lot of them are upset. And a lot of them are angry. And a lot of them are frankly fed up. And so when you come here and you read these stories, it's easy to say that these are men that hate women, but that's not the truth. Most of us, we're fine with women. We just don't want one in our lives. And when you ask about a relationship, yeah, a lot of guys might use a lot of bad words, a lot of curse words, and be really upset about their previous relationship. But if you were to meet them in the grocery store and your cart accidentally bumps into theirs, or you're a cashier, or you're a waitress, or wherever this person, some of these guys or myself, has to bump into you and interact with you, we're nice. We tip. We smile. We're polite. We'll have a nice little conversation with you, and we'll leave. And you might even say, that's a nice guy. You wouldn't know that doesn't mean that I never want to date another woman again, or at least have a long-term relationship with any of them. See, so for some reason, when a guy vents here, when a guy dumps his poison out into a comment section, when he's done, he says, man, okay, you get a little bit of that out, and then you move on with your life. And that's where women don't understand how men are. Men very rarely will talk behind another man's back. We're more the ones that we're going to get it out in front of us. And if I don't like you and you don't like me, we're going to talk about it. We might even shove. We might even wrestle. We might even throw some punches. But usually after the dust up is done, guys will at least shake hands and go have a beer together. A lot of times that happens. They don't hold the poison. They don't talk behind each other's back. They get it all out. They get the respect on the table, and then they move on. It's the same thing here. They're going to come in here. They're going to watch a video. They're going to say probably some pretty mean things. They get it out on the table. They feel better. They see a lot of other men, 45,000 as of this video, subscribers, 45,000 other people that may be in the same situation that they are. They vent, they get it out, they feel better, and then they move on with their lives. And they move on with their lives and they're happy, So when I say these things, when I talk about these videos, this is not a dating advice channel. I'll tell guys, if you're going to date, make sure to look out for this, make sure you do this, so on and so forth. That's just me spitting out some common sense to younger men. But you have to understand that the men here have just taken the rewards of a relationship and the cost of a relationship. And for them, the cost is high and the rewards are low. Now, for some men, it's the opposite. And those men are still out there on the market, and they're the ones that come on here and think we're all crazy, and they call us different names and say we're a bunch of losers, and then off they go. All we are is we just say, the benefits that I get out of a relationship are not worth the cost. That's all it is. And for me, the costs, they don't equate enough for me to put any energy into it. Now, something, if I met somebody that was really nice, and she was sweet, and she was funny, and she really wanted to go out on a date with me, and she asked me, I'd probably go grab coffee with her. I'd entertain it. I'd chat with her a little bit. I won't have a serious relationship. I won't get in a long-term relationship with her. I won't marry her. I'll never live with her. And we'll probably go 50-50 on the dates for the cost. If she's not okay with that, then that's fine, right? But that's us. That's me. That's what this channel is about. It's how do I make my way through this world where everybody just expects men to date and to marry and to be the providers and to be a strong... We don't want that. We just want to do our own thing. And so we've kind of tucked ourselves off into the corner of the world. We're getting backed into a corner. There's many bad things that are talked about with men. And so, like I said, some do bad things and some are angry. But there's a lot of groups that do bad things. Most of us, 95%, 99% of us, we just want to be left alone. We want to tell our horror stories. We want to talk about our nightmare situations. We want to have some laughs on how bad the dating situation is. And then we'll go our way. We'll never bother you. We're never going to pester you. If you meet somebody like me, we're not going to make you feel awkward. We're not going to yell at you. We're not going to talk to you. We're not going to ask you out on a date. As far as we know, we're just the quiet, shy guy that's looking at a book in the bookstore or standing in line for a coffee. We're just like everybody else, except we just don't date. It's that simple. Yet everybody tries to make it out to be more than it is. So, guys, I'll leave it there. I hope this either solidifies how I feel about this to some of my viewers, and I hope this resonates with some of the women to understand there's yes, you're going to see some poison and some anger on here, but were you to meet, again, probably 99.999% of the men in this area of the world, in this little corner of YouTube, were you to meet any of them, they'd be perfectly cordial and nice to you. They're not going to curse and spit at you or be hard on you. It's just we come here to vent a little bit, and then we move on with our lives. So, guys, if you'd like to support my work, links are below, and those of you that have recently, thank you so much. And, of course, the best way you can share my stuff is to like, comment, and share, and go watch some of my older stuff. Some of my old videos, finally, after being out there for a week or two, finally they get actually monetized. So if you want to watch my old stuff, maybe you learn something, and that does help support the channel. Guys, I'll leave it there. This is Better Bachelor. I'm Joker. And remember, The wise warrior avoids the battle.